Hi and welcome back. Now we're at video 2, and video 2 is all about making the cake. Now I've made plenty of cakes and tried plenty of recipes, and by far I've found this one to be the best to use and the easiest and less time. So if you choose not to use this cake mixture, that's fine. I know people that are making cake pops use a packet cake. You just have to keep in mind that my recipe for my cake pops won't be the same if you don't use this cake mixture, because some cake mixtures have more oil in them, some are more dry. So I guess when you're trying to follow a cake pop recipe as such, it's really hard because every cake is different. So this cake pop course is based on this cake recipe. So we'll get started on the equipment list, what you're going to need to make your cake. So obviously you need your oven, and if you can preheat it at 160 degrees. You're going to need your electric mixer or your handheld mixer. You'll need your measuring cups and your measuring spoons. You're going to need your sifter, your spatula, your baking tin, and your baking paper or parchment paper. So that's the equipment that you're going to need. Your ingredients for the cake mixture is 125 grams of butter, softened. You'll need 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar, which is super fine sugar. You'll need 2 eggs. You'll need 2 tablespoons of full cream milk, and make sure that's also at room temperature. You're going to need 1 cup and 1/4 of self-raising flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So grab all your ingredients and let's get started. Okay, so let's get started. Now, before we put all of our ingredients into the mixer, I need you to get your loaf tin and cover it with a little bit of softened butter, and then put your baking paper, parchment paper inside. So you're coating all the tin, so that's ready to go so we don't waste any time later. So once you've done that, you can put it aside, and we'll start going on to the cake. So what you need is your 125 grams of softened butter. You just need to put that into the mixer, and also your 3/4 of a cup of caster sugar, and pop that together into the mixer. Now we're going to put that on medium speed and until it's white and fluffy, about 4 minutes. So in between as well, you may need to scrape the sides down with your spatula just so all the mixture is nicely combined. Okay, so that's nice, white and fluffy. So now we're ready to put our eggs in. I want you to put your eggs in one by one. So when you pop one egg in, we're going to mix it until it's all combined. That usually takes about 20 seconds. And then once that's done, we'll put the next egg in. Okay, so now that's all nicely combined, I'm going to get you to put your milk that's at room temperature in. I don't want you to mix it for a long time. I just need you to mix it until it's just combined. So honestly, just a few seconds. All right, so now all of our wet ingredients are combined. So what I'll get you to do is pop up your mixing blades, scrape down as much as you can. Then we're going to take them off because we're going to put our dry ingredients in, and we don't need these anymore. Okay, so get rid of those. Now I've sifted all of the dry ingredients. So that's your flour, your baking powder and your cocoa powder. So sift that through, and what I'll get you to do is put it into your bowl. Now this is the easy part. We're just going to fold our ingredients together. It doesn't need a lot of stirring. Just gently fold it through until all your ingredients are just combined. This is a thick cake recipe. It's not a runny cake recipe, so don't freak out when you see it. This cake, it's not as super sweet as other cake mixtures out there, and it's perfect for a cake pop because you've got to keep in mind candy melts are really sweet, so you don't want your inside to be sweet. You want your candy melts to complement the cake, and you want your cake pops to look good, but you want them to taste good as well. So this cake recipe is by far my favorite. Okay, so you can see that these are just combined, so that's perfect. Now what I'm going to get you to do is just scrape it into your tin. Try and get all your cake mixture off because the recipe says it makes 20 cake pops. So you need to try and get all your mixture in. Okay, just scrape it down so it's nice and even. You don't need to fret about it because this isn't a cake that's going on display. It's going to be crumbled and no one will even know how it looks. So you don't need to spend a lot of time on it. You just want to flatten it out so it cooks nice and evenly. Okay, so that's ready to go into the oven. Pop that into the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. I know every oven's different. When I cook this cake, I put it in the oven in my oven for 28 minutes and it comes out perfect. So after 25 minutes, if you like, grab a skewer or a knife and poke it through the middle. If it comes out clear, then your cake's ready to go. I have found sometimes when I do make this cake, once I cool it down, it sinks in the middle. Again, don't freak out about that because we're going to be crumbling the cake anyway. So yeah, we'll pop that in the oven now. Okay, so I've popped my cake in my oven for 28 minutes and this is how it's come out. I hope your kitchens are smelling delicious, just like mine is. So I like to plan making cake pops ahead of time. So I really prefer making my cake the day before. It just saves me a lot of time going in and out of the kitchen, and when I'm making my cake pops I can solely just focus on doing that. So I like to make my cake the day before. If you do that, all you need to do is just keep it in your tin and cover it with a tea towel and leave it there overnight, and so it'll be ready to go for the next day. If you are in a rush and you've had to make them on the same day, that's fine as well. You just need to allow your cake to be completely cooled before you put it into the food processor or hand crumbling to make your cake balls. So I recommend about 3 hours cooling time, about 45 to 1 hour in the tin. Once that's done, you can take it out and put it onto your wire rack and let that cool down completely for another 2 hours. So yeah, there's your cake. I hope you're having fun in your kitchens, and I will see you in video 3 to make our cream cheese frosting.